Have you noticed that what we call sci-fi often has very little to do with science? Is it some kind of misnaming mistake? Hi, I am Not-a-witchr, and also I'm not a scientist, but I think that it would be beneficial to all who like fantasy and sci-fi if we defined more clearly what's what, so it would be easier to look for books, games and movies of specific genres and world settings. First of all, I am not trying to create a heated discussion of my intellectual abilities, which might start in the comments anyway, but only trying to point out that many people see the difference between sci-fi and fantasy like this.
I actually believe that science fiction and fantasy are just two flavors of the same thing. I mean, one of them is chocolate ice cream and one of them is strawberry ice cream, but they're both ice cream, and they taste really good.
Is that really all the difference? Really? I discussed my personal opinion on the difference in my previous video. Check that out if you're interested. In short, I propose to distinguish these two genres based not on what it looks like, but on what it feels like. And if it feels like something that humanity could possibly achieve through science, then it's closer to sci-fi. But wait, you may say, what about this space fantasy? Well, in my opinion, we should not mix sci-fi with space fantasy. Or maybe future fantasy. I don't really like the term science fantasy because it's not about science at all. Anyway, this kind of games, books and movies very often uses classic fantasy elements like cool melee weapons, supernatural powers, aka space magic, and even medieval social structures. Tell honestly, what the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word empire? Roman Empire? British Empire? Or is it... Maybe since the Asimov's Foundation and Herbert's Dune, the future of humanity is full of empires and emperors. And what about aliens who are often just straightly feudal or even religious? Okay, let's ignore the notion that ancient rigid power structures have always suppressed innovation and scientific progress, and it takes a lot of progress to make a spaceship. Okay, I mean, they could be not human, so it could all be different. But why would an advanced space civilization choose to wage war with swords and axes when they could do it on a distance much more effectively? There's basically only one author who actually justified melee combat in the future lore-wise. Generally speaking, this is where the rule of cool comes in, and I respect that, I do. But why would I use the word science in the name of the genre when it's just not about that? And if I would look for something like Interstellar, Arrival or The Expanse, which all have quite a lot of science involved, to find something like this, how should I put it into words for the internet? In fantasy, we have subgenres like high fantasy, dark fantasy, urban fantasy, but when there is space or future involved, it all just sci-fi. Man, it's hard to classify such things in a couple of words, and I don't think it would be convenient to use longer definitions. Distant future, other planets, social, scientific with religious robot fiction? What are we to do? Maybe, in our search for something that we would like, we can only rely on the people who share our taste. But that is another topic entirely. So please let me know what you think in the comments, and when I think of the answer, I will definitely share it with you. Thank you for watching, take care and farewell.